So that was Slime Time. It's more about like speed running versus just like playing it. Whatever. Okay, now into Run, my newest one. The newest one I have. It's kind of weird, but yeah, the newest one. So this one is based off of the game called Run. Of course, that's what it's called, Run. From, I don't remember what website. And if you remember anything, if you know what the game Run is, basically, I just realized this is off center. Basically, you have, I don't know how to explain this. Well, let's get into the game and I'll explain it. So, let's go Run. Run across the floor and walls. That's exactly what it is. Okay, this one is a bit really glitchy. And when I mean a bit glitchy, I mean really glitchy. So, basically, you'd have a track like this, and you'd say, how would you get around here? Well, what happens is you stick to the wall, and then you run across the wall, and when you go beside a wall, you get to stand on it. So, this is what I based it off. So, basically, it's this circular thing, and of course, you get to the other end. I didn't want to make it too long. Well, it was impossible for me to make it too long. I had to make it really short, which is kind of sad, but, whatever. Anyways, let's get right into it. So, you start up here. It's glitchy, like I said. I don't know why you do that. And if you stand right up against the wall, yeah, glitchy, right? Oh, I actually got onto it in the end. Yeah, it's very glitchy, but I got into the end. And so basically you have to stand right up against the wall. And then you get turned. And now I'm on the wall. And if you can see, that's where I started before. And yeah, okay, so I'm gonna get onto this block now. So I should get turned. See, it likes to glitch like that. Oh, apparently I was never even doing that. Yeah, no. It's pretty glitchy. Usually it should work though. Like, it's not all the time it works, but it usually works. Okay, this part usually works as well. Yep, okay. I'm gonna end up eating my words. This part usually doesn't work. Do you work? Usually doesn't work. I don't know why. It's a thing. Let's see if it works. Yep, no. It sends me through the floor. I don't know if this is gonna be like, I want to put this out in the final version. Oh, it worked. Okay. I want to put this out in the final version, but like, it might be too buggy to do so. I might just say it's like for fun. Just like for funsies. No, like, I'm sorry. Nothing like too big of a deal. And if I ever put a point system in this, I'm not gonna, base it off of this one. Alright, anyway, so I should be turning here. See, yeah, that's what annoys me a lot about this one. It doesn't work a lot of the time. It kind of bugs me. Oh, that one worked. Okay, cool. What is going on with my life? Okay, cool. That's done. I really wish this one worked. I don't know why. It's just like, it's too much strain on my computer or something like that. I don't know. There might be some mechanics problem, but as far as I know, it's just a thing. Because it sometimes works and it sometimes doesn't. So yeah, no, like, okay. I don't even know. Okay, let's get onto this side, please. Thank you. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I think there's some problems with the command box, because this is obviously not done. So here. This is an important thing to note. This is in front of me, right? So I can't get on this and then walk up that. It doesn't work like that. So it's only side to side. Same like in the game Run. It's only side to side. Anyway, let's go to the side of this. What? Yeah, okay. You know what? Wow. See, I think the problem is, what should happen is it should turn before I should get teleported. But sometimes it doesn't do that. Okay, and the last part over here is like, you could do it multiple ways. I didn't really bother. Okay, but of course I fail it. Yep, and then finally I'm done. And get onto this, and of course that won't work. Oh, it did work. And I'm done. And there's no like done thing. Oh. I feel so bad this one doesn't work, because this is the one I want to work so badly. Like, this one is so nice. Like, such good concept. I really haven't seen that anywhere before. But it's really hard to make it work very well. Yeah, because of like the way I did it. Maybe there might be no better way, but I don't really want to redo the entire thing. So actually, believe it or not, it only runs on these command blocks. It's a pretty small amount compared to something like Guesser. So yeah, let's go through how this works. So it's pretty simple here. So this little table gives you kind of indication of how this works. So there's a set of numbers, and basically these set of numbers correspond to the different orientations. And actually, inside each one of this, the reason why it's so tall is because there's a template for each of the different rotated version. So this is the one where you play in. You always play in this one. But there's different ones that get turned. Each one is a turned version. So and there's 4 different versions of that. One is normal, then the next one, then the next one, and so on. 4 different rotations. And basically, what this does is this table basically represents how these command blocks do it. So if you're at number 1, and there's something to the left of you, which is meaning if you're standing here, it's to the left, so that's how you show it, and then that makes it number 4. So it clones in the 4th one. If you're at number 2, it clones in the first one, 3rd one clones in the 2nd one, 4th one clones in the 1st one, and then over here shows all the left side. So if you're at the left side, 1 clones into 2, 2 clones into 3, 3 clones into 4, and 4 clones into 1. 4 clones into 1. So really what's going on here is actually, this one is subtracting 1, but it's basically going around this way. So 1 turns into 4, 2 turns into 1, 3 turns into 2. So it's subtracting 1 basically. This one, on the other hand, is adding 1. So 1 turns 2, 2 turns 3, 3 turns 4, and 4 turns to 1. So that turns back to 1. So what the system I have going is, these 2 blocks are the most important. And what this one says is, if you were at the... it says it right here. If this side, if you're at the right of a block, if the block is right of you, then do so and so. And if this one is, if you're at the left of something, of the stain hardened clay 4, which is yellow stain hardened clay, then of course you go do something. And the reason why it's 0.4, that one says negative 0.4, this one says positive, is because if you were just standing like right here, it would have teleported you because you're on that block and it's beside you. So the reason why I have 0.4 is because that means you have to get right up on top of the block for it to work. Yeah, so what these do is when you're at the right, it removes from the rotation. And the rotation, if we can show you that right now, rotation. Okay, so rotation, it says -4 right now. Let's demonstrate what happens if you are beside something. So let's say I'm getting here, it turns to 5, which turns to 1. And that means that the rotation is now 1. So again, okay, that was a weird way to say it. Anyway, so as I was saying here, each number has a rotation. So when of course you add 1, the add 1 rotation, it goes to the next one. So that means when you add 1, it's on the left because you're adding 1 here. Yeah, and then the other one is removed, so you remove. And then the rotation changes corresponded. This is just some resetting, filling, whatever. Yeah, this one, same thing. Yeah, so that's basically the heart of the program. It's actually just like a couple blocks, which, no, this is more the heart, actually. Anyways, so you might be thinking there's a big problem to this, and that is, maybe you're not thinking of this, I don't know if you thought of this, but if you think about it in like, if you've done rotational geometry, I don't know if that's the thing, but if you've done rotations in geometry, you would know that the point in the graph, okay, can I make a little graph here? Let's make a little Minecraft graph. Okay, no, I should make this a bit bigger. A little bit. Okay, let me get this set up, and then I'll show you when I'm done. So yeah. Alright, so I am back, and here is my little makeshift graph. And you've probably seen this before. It's known as the Cartesian plane, I believe. And yeah, so I've labeled these numbers. Probably won't mean much to their, well, their numbers that they would be. So if a block was here, then they would be 2, 2, and respectively, of course. And then if it was here, it would be -1, 1, so on. Probably done this before for watching this video. Yeah, so this green one is showing where the rotation, where it starts from, and the red shows where it's ending from. And so basically what's happening here is the rotation starting from the point 0, 0 is turning this way. So it's turning, it's getting to that point. So the point here is 2, -2. That's the point of the green block. And when you rotate it 90 degrees, the point now becomes on 2 and 2, or 2 and 2, sorry. Yeah, so that's how that works. So it's pretty self-explanatory. It's 2, 2. There should be no big deal, right? 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 No. Because if I start the point from here now, and let's say I want to rotate it here, is it just, okay, let's say 3, 2, so let's say 3, 2, right? Right? Is that right? Sure, no, it's not right. It's not right at all. So this is not a rotation, because that actually should come up to here. That should be that's what the rotation looks like. And so actually, if we did the whole thing, this one is 3, 2. Oh, no. Okay, that's the actual rotation. So that's 3, 2. Then this one becomes -2, 3. The next one would be, if you could probably guess it, it would want to be. Yeah, sure. It'd be -3, -2. And the last one is -3, 2. Huh? -3, 2? Yeah. -3, 2. So that's a full rotation. And each of these blocks, if they were perfectly rotated 90 degrees, would end up in each of these spots. Alright. So, now that's covered. Basically what's going on there, I shouldn't probably have deleted that. Basically what's going on there is this x value here, the 3, is becoming the y value. The y value is becoming the x value. So that's really how it's working. Let's say now, if we're translating it here around, well, it's pretty much going to be the same thing, except it's not going to be using negatives. It's just going to be using that number. It's going to be using like that. So the middle point here. So I've designed this so that it is exactly 9 by 9. Okay? And each of these is a certain point on the graph, as we can say. And this is the system for plotting the rotation. So this input is asking where I am. So this since I only need x and y, I don't need z for this. This calculates my x when turning, I can't remember. It should say it right here. This calculates it for turning, what is it? It's not saying, oh, it says right. Okay, so that's when I'm turning right. And of course the other one should be left. So this calculates when I'm turning right. So this side calculates what my y should be. This calculates what my x should be. So they're two separate things. This is seeing what my current x is and changing it to the corresponding y. So that's like basics of this. So what I had to do is for every single x coordinate, for every single y coordinate, I had to do 1. So if you could see, there's 9 of these here for every single x coordinate. And there's 9 of these here for every single y. And of course you do it twice because there has to be turning left and turning right. Turning 90 degrees or negative 90 degrees, whatever you want to say, 270 degrees. I don't care. Yeah, so these get triggered by, of course, these stone gets triggered when you turn, so it's not always going off because I had it like that. Had it always going off. and it did not work out. I don't know why. I guess I don't have enough RAM. I don't even know. It wasn't working. My computer was not handling that properly. So yeah, this is like the system for plotting, which I find extremely cool. Like you can do that kind of stuff in Minecraft. You can do that stuff with incorporating the whole game. So yeah, so basically, if we were to say we were at, so like I said, I plotted each and every point, even though it wouldn't matter. A line like this was never used, so I would never really use this. But say I was at, let's say around this x and then this y. So I would be at where I am exactly at 801.60, 801 and 60. So if I wanted to turn left, let's see where I would be at. Let's type that in because I need to explain something before we go on to this. So, I didn't explain this yet. This test for, and then there's a bunch of numbers, really confusing. Why don't you just use test for y equals tilde, x equals z equals tilde, and then x equals whatever you want it to be? You can't do that. The game doesn't allow you to do that. It's pretty stupid, but there is a way to go around that, and that is to do this. And what this is doing is it's taking a random y and z point, so that's 68, 728, that's around like here around, but as you can see the x value is pretty special. What the x value is it's 10,000, so it's a really large number. So if we were going to x value, we would say that 10,000 is far that way, very far that way. Then what does that do for us? Well, this r means radius, and this is the radius minimum. So the radius basically dictates around a whole area around there. So if my point was this, and I said the radius of 2, then it would take everything in the radius of 2. So anything in this box or on it would be inside the radius. So this is how this works. So if you can imagine that this is the point, actually let me just do this so it looks a bit nicer. So yeah, 1 second. So yeah, this is the point, the radius, which is I'm going to put in red, and this is the radius minimum. So that's the RM. That's the minimum amount. There's also a maximum, a radius maximum, which is going to be, it's not a good place, but you know what? Let me design this, and I will get back to you later. See ya. Alright, so here's how it really works. So I was explaining a little bit weirdly last time. Kind of forget all I said about this radius thing. So if this command block had no radius minimum, and we said just the radius would be 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, it would take anything in this whole box, don't mind the sandstone strip, anything in this whole box would be considered, yes, you are in that radius, right? But we added the radius minimum, and what that does, let's say the radius minimum is 2 in this case, right? So that's 2. What this does is it excludes a part inside this whole radius that says this is not part of it. So this part's not part of it, so all this black part is not what it's looking for. It's only looking for the parts in the sandstone. So that it narrows it down to quite a lot. Versus with the radius, you could only do it right next to that point, or else you wouldn't be able to do that. Versus you can do this now. And so now, the benefit of having a huge point away, so a huge radius, because as you can see, I had like a 9,000 radius around. See, look, 9,000 radius. Benefit of having that is because, as you can tell here, this is 2 here, so this is 5. When it's 4, this goes on to be like 9. So as this line gets bigger, this gets bigger as well, right? So that means I kind of jumped a little bit ahead. Basically, it's only looking for the sandstone strip, right? So up here, if we said that the thing is very far that way, if it was very far that way, just imagine this sandstone strip only covers, let's put it in sandstone, the sandstone strip only covers it right here. So it excludes you when you're on this side of it, it excludes you on the other side, but when you're just on it, it will say, you are on the sandstone strip, you are good, and that's what your X is. Sure. And then that does that for every single one. So just basically it moves the sandstone strip over. So yeah, this is exactly how it works. And now, as I was saying before, whatever I was saying before, yeah, so the benefit of having it far away is that this line is extremely long, and we need that to be extremely long, because that line encompasses the entire length of this, the entire length of it. So it has to be able to detect the entire length, so it has to be really far away, so the radius is huge, so it can detect a huge amount. So, because instead of that, you want it to be really big. So basically, that, in the simplest terms, it detects your X, and only your X. That's all it does. And then, of course, this one sets it to the proper Y. And now, as I was saying over here, you might have forgotten because it was a long time ago, but the X becomes the Y, and so it has to be the proper Y. So, of course, the X here, so this X value, because we're looking for the X, because the X is the one that's in a huge line, the huge point, it turns into the Y. And don't worry if you didn't get that. Honestly, I didn't get it either until, it took a while for me to get it. Anyways, so then this one makes it the Y. So you put the point in the Y right up in the sky, and then you do the radius thing again. And how to read this is, we'll say, if we go back to this example, let's say this is 0x, this is 1x, this is 2x, this is 3x, this is 4x. So if we're saying the radius is 4, and the radius minimum is 2, then all it's going to read is 3. All it's going to want to look for is 3. So in the same way, if the radius is 9,201, and the radius minimum is 9,199, the point in the middle is the point where you are, so 9,200. And since this is 9,200 points away from the point, that's actually, if you subtract it, so 10,000 minus 9,200, which is the point where you're looking at, and you get 800, which is it should be the first point here. So if you can see, the X value for you is 800, right? Alright. Man, that was a lot of explaining. Definitely gonna put this in 2 parts. Definitely. And of course, bats are dying because I hate bats, and they should all die on the clock. My mouth is getting watery because talking so much. Yeah, that's nothing. Yeah, so this is the plotting system. Yeah, that's really it. There's not really much more to say. Yeah. Let me think. Oh yeah, of course. Wait, is this really important? Oh yeah, this is just the system that says if your rotation is 2, then you want to put the proper template over there. Yes. Oh, and this thing doesn't do anything. Don't even worry about it. Yeah. Okay. No, that was just like a test thing. If something could work. So yeah, remember this explanation. If you remember this explanation, you'll know how the rotation works. And yeah. So it's kind of a really weird idea that you can teleport the X and the Y at different times, which is probably why it was a bit shaky. So these two we already covered, right? Remember that? And this is the P. This is jump up. This is cross zombie. And the last one is this monstrosity. So this thing is not done, even though I started it before slime time, and run. I started before both of those. But I haven't gone to finishing it. So these are really this one is not a lot about programming, command blocks and stuff. This is a story-based game. So let me I wanted to like make it perfect. I didn't really look over it yet, so I want to do that. So anyways, I'll see you. Alright, we are back, and finally, I set up everything. Everything's good to go for the place where it is right now. And I actually added the button, so it teleports you to the proper place. So yeah, it's not completely done. Let me just take this off of the thing. Yeah, it's not completely done, just remember that. But anyways, this is really what I have done at the moment. Okay, so let's get it. It's called Prison Escape. So maybe getting a little idea. Maybe he's probably getting more idea because it's pretty self-explanatory. So prison break, break Pete out of jail. Alright, so what do we do here? So there's gonna be a chest in that main room explaining every single game. But for this game, the only explanation is progress the story and step on the chiseled stone bricks to progress the story. So this block, if you step on it, it'll progress the story. So it says your name, it's time. Now climb the ladder and save feet. So I can open the door, get off the thing, and start climbing the ladder. So which I will do. Oh gosh, no! Oh, I forgot to set myself to adventure mode. Game mode 2. Okay, so I'm now in adventure mode. Okay, so now this should, again, progress the story. So, alright, you can place your lockpick on the bricks to activate any door. Use this. Oops, that should not be there. When I said I fixed everything, I might have not fixed everything. Yeah, that should not be there. You place it on there. Now the key is active, and you can press the button and jump inside if it's possible, and land in the water. Okay, cool. So I hit that block, and it says, "Oh, you can't break the lock this time." Oh no, oh no. 1 second, give me 1 second, give me 1 second. Alright, we are back. Small fix. I forgot to fix some things. Okay, so I hit that, and then I got this trap door cutter. So I can probably break this with that. Let's break it. No, okay, let me get out of the water so I can break it easily. Oh, this is gonna be tough. Oh, especially with that leg. Yeah, let's see if I can get it without drowning. Oh, we're close. Oh, we're down. Okay, we've gotten out. Oof. Okay, and we should progress the story by clicking on these. Great, you're in. Be on the lookout for guards like the one right in front of you. You can use a breaker as a weapon. This thing. And really, there should be a guard right here. Haven't done that yet. We'll be doing that soon. Wow, I should have explained this first. I actually put a custom texture pack in this game, so the guards actually look like guards. I'll show you that after this. But for now, basically you're supposed to kill the guard in here and get the key. And the keys, these 2 keys you can place on the brick blocks, as you can see right there. It says, can you place on blocks? So I walk past and it says, it should say, nice work. Unfortunately, from here on out, I can't help you. One last thing. Pete's cell number is 12. Remember, 12. Remember that. 1, 2, 12. Alright. Let's go here. And now we have this. We can't place it on lapis lazuli blocks because it's in bricks. And there should, in here, again, we don't have the guards in yet, but there should be 2 guards in here. You press this, you get in, you kill the guards, and you get the stuff. And are you ready for this? I don't think you're ready for this. Please start an armor. Oh, and a taser? What? What's a taser? Let's take it for now. And let's get the guard's armor. So the guard's shirt, pants, shoes, and hat. Put it on. Are you ready for this? I don't think you're ready for this. Hat. Shirt. Pants. And boots. I am a guard. Look at me now. Look at me now. Oh, okay, I did bad things. One second. Okay, yeah, again. Now it's say, look at me now. Yeah, so that's that. And the taser, we should add arrows. What am I doing? 1 freaking second. But I'm just gonna go in creative mode quick. Get some arrows. I didn't think of that. I chest should not be there. I don't know why it is. And a master key. So taser, you can shoot this thing, of course, and you can see a little yellow particles fly out, and then the taser is. That's the taser. And yeah, okay. Yeah, there's a button there. Should be a button there. And as you can see, we have obtained the master key. And the master key can be placed on the lapis lazuli block. Perfect. So we can use that and get through the door. Alright, let's walk in. Finally, we're getting to the cell, so let's progress the story. Hey, you walk in. Hey, look, the prisoners start getting really loud, so everyone's realizing you come in now. Okay, so what was Pete's cell number? Not those 12. It was 12, so let's go to 12. Oh, look, there's a brick immediately there. Click on you. One second. I know what's wrong. I haven't finished this part yet. Let me get to it. I'll see you a second. Right, we are back with your boy, Villager. Okay, so got this to work again. Hey, you, I can tell you how to get your friend out. What? I thought Pete was supposed to be in here. Pete moved to another cell. Oh, I see it. All you have to do is get me a key from cell 8. Oh, here. And put it in the first slot in my chest. After that, I'll tell you everything. So you can actually access the chest. Hello? You can access the chest from here. And we're all good. Yeah, so cell 8 you said, right? So how are these numbered? 14, 12, okay, so it's going by even number. So I can go up. Okay, that looks like cell 8, so can I ask you? Yes, I can, and here there's a key. Let's use this key. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to go to game mode 1, because I realize that now. Don't want to do that. That was kind of dumb. I have to get the keys now again, because I used them, right? Because they were in chests. Anyways, he asked if I can put it in the chest. Cool. Thanks, man. Alright, you can find your friend in cell 5. There's another key in cell 7. Alright, cool. So cell 7 should be on this side. Okay, these are the big numbers. Cell 7, perfect. Oh no, what's all that noise? The guards figured me out. I got Pete's key. Let's go. And I put that on there. Just imagine. Yeah, okay. No, 5. Stop right there. Oh no, he found me. Come on, Pete, let's go. Oh boy. Oh boy, he's slow. So basically the idea here is you have to, can you not, like, go through the door? Yeah, basically the idea is you have to escort him. It was working before, why do you don't work anymore? No, he's gonna kill himself. Don't do it. Okay, good. Okay, come on. The idea is you have to, what are you doing, slime? Please. 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 I'm gonna flush you. I don't understand. Oh, because I'm creative. What am I doing? Okay. If I'm game with 2 now, he's gonna follow me. So yeah, the idea is you have to escort him out. So he's gonna follow you because many slimes follow you, but they can't hurt you. As you can see, he's hitting against me, but he can't hurt me. So let's go. It's a perfect animal for this. You have to escort him. Come on. And basically, guards should be spawning with spawners that I put in the entrance over there. Haven't done yet. And of course, you gotta make sure he doesn't kill himself. Because one small slip up and he can kill himself. No, don't kill himself. Oh, anyway, I gave him the limited health, didn't I? So if I jump down here, and you jumped off, you should be fine. Yeah, okay, never mind. He can't kill himself. He used to be able to do that. Yep. Yeah. And then, of course, you escort him out. And I can kill him too. No, I can't kill him. He's unbelievably killable. Okay, yeah, he's not killable. Anyway, okay, let's show you a couple things that the game has. So, the guards are supposed to be skeletons. And, well, I can show you that now, but I will show you that right now, of course. So, there should be a block that sets up these guys. This is the mob spawner. This gives you a mob spawner. if I got the baton, it's the actual, it's a diamond sword. So, it's a diamond versus diamond fight. And of course, it's kind of fun. Let's see if we can initiate this. He's gonna come at me. No, stay back hard. Oh boy, he doesn't do that much damage. He does a lot of damage though still, because you have the diamond armor, but he still has the diamond sword, right? And it takes a while to kill guards. And the way you're supposed to obtain these batons instead of just, of course, fighting a bunch of skeletons and getting the baton, they have a 10% chance of dropping them. So let me get that right now. Oh, actually I can do this. Go over here. Oh, is it? Yes. Where are you? No, it's not this one. This is not it. This is a different game entirely. I want to be on the other side of the way over here. Okay. And this is the spawner. Let me just... Ooh, no, that doesn't do it. Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't even need to say it. Yeah, so this is the thing. Basically, let's say, okay, fills mob spawner. It just fills an area with the mob spawners, and it replaces, I don't know, it's probably just a thing. Replace whatever, who cares? Spawn counts